Thank you for purchasing the Color Buster. Your color mixing struggles are now officially over. As you can see, the Color Buster has many parts to it, so let's go through each part. That'll give us a good feel for what everything is used for. First up, we have a 12-part color wheel. The primaries are marked with a P, secondaries with an S, and tertiaries with a T. Next to each color, you will see the opposite or complementary color for quick reference. The color wheel also has been split with the warm colors on the left and the cold colors on the right. This mini black and white wheel is called a panchromatic color wheel. In a nutshell, it's the color wheel converted to grayscale. We use this to reference how dark or light the colors on the color wheel actually are. Being able to use the color wheel is vital when mixing colors. Luckily, there are some easy rules we can follow to ensure we get our colors just right. These colors are listed here, so even if you are painting outdoors, you won't forget. There's also a link to our color mixing tutorial videos. Next up, we have our tonal chart. The tonal chart is used to see how light or dark a color is. The trick to finding the tonal value of a color is to look past the color and only see the lightness or darkness of the color. But the more you use the Color Buster, the easier it becomes, because as you will see shortly, the Color Buster actually trains your eye to see these tonal differences. Moving to the right hand side of the tool, we have the Color Compare section. We use this to isolate and compare two or more colors against each other. We use this isolating technique because our eye tends to optically blend adjacent colors together. This puts our eye off when trying to match a color. By isolating them against a neutral background, we cancel out this effect and we are now able to see the true color. Moving up, we have the tone checker. When mixing your colors, you'll be using this part of the Color Buster the most. The tone checker contains all the colors of the visible spectrum as they appear in the spectrum. These colors are roughly along the center line. Moving upwards off the center line, they've been faded towards white, and moving downwards off the center line, they are faded to black. This then gives us each color of the visible spectrum in 10% increments all the way from almost white to almost black. As you can see, the tonal chart is also shown, so you can now easily locate the color you are busy mixing on the color spectrum and simply read off its tonal value. This helps to train your eye to see tonal values correctly. We can also immediately see where our color fits into the spectrum of colors in relation to the colors around it. This helps a lot with getting our ratio of color mixes correct, because we can immediately see if our color, in this case the green, has, for example, more blue or more yellow in it. We also use the tone checker to compare two colors with each other, as you will see in the demo shortly. Moving up, you will find the color checker. We use this to compare the color we have mixed with the actual color on our reference material. If you are mixing a highlight color, you would put your paint on the white block. If you are mixing a mid-tone color, you put your paint on the mid-tone block. A shadow color goes on the black block. By doing this, we are again eliminating the optical mixing caused by our eye. It also makes it easier to see if our color is lighter or darker than the reference color. Lastly, we have the color finder, which we can slide along our tone checker to isolate and find the color we are trying to match. From there, we can find the base color and the full tonal range of that color. Wow, that sounded like a lot, and it is, but let's do a practical example and you will see how easy it really is to use the Color Buster to match your colors. we're going to use the color buster to match the colors of the Sinhala buck. When matching a range of colors like this, always mix your mid-tone color first. Use one of the color compare holes to isolate the mid-tone color on the buck. Now slide your color finder up to locate the same color on the spectrum. Mark it with an erasable whiteboard marker. As you can now see the full tonal range of this color, you can look to see if one of those colors aren't already in your box of paints. In this example, I can see burnt sienna over here. So I will be able to use that as the base color for this mix. If you don't recognize one of the colors, then we slide the color finder away to see what our color is made of. In this example, I can see that our color lies in the orange part of the spectrum. I can also see that the color is closer to yellow than red, so I would start with an orange and a yellow mix on my palette. Now that we have a base color to start us off in the right track, we can read off the tonal value of our color. We always get the tonal value of our color correct before the color itself. In this case, our color lies above the midtone mark, so we will adjust its tonal value by adding white. If, however, our color lay below the midtone mark, we would need to add the opposite color to it. Okay, let's add some white to our burnt sienna and get our tonal value correct. Start by adding too little. You can always add more to the mix, but you can't take any paint out. Once we feel that we are close, we can put some paint onto the color finder and find this color on the spectrum. Mark it with an erasable whiteboard marker. If we now pull the color finder back, the color buster will tell us exactly what colors to add to our mix. I've marked the color we're trying to match with an arrow, and in this case we can see that color is closer to yellow, so we will need to add more yellow to our mix. The further away we are, the more we need to add. Here we are pretty far away from the correct color, so we will have to add quite a lot of yellow. My color is also slightly lighter now, so I may need to add a touch of burnt sienna back. With the yellow added in, we can now find our new color on the spectrum again. That seems pretty close now, so let's move on to the next step. Our color is halfway between the light and the mid-tone, so we could use either the white or the gray block to check our color against the reference material. If in doubt which block to use, choose the darker block. I'll use the middle gray block for my color. Hold your color up and flat against the reference picture to ensure that both are at the same angle, otherwise your check will not be accurate as the light will be falling on each differently. At this stage your color will either be an exact match or it will need a slight fine-tuning using your color mixing rules. The most common adjustment that I have found is that your color is usually too bright, so you would need to add a touch of the opposite color to the mix. Now we can rinse and repeat for the highlight and shadow colors, using our first mix as the base color. Enjoy your newfound color mixing skills. I'm Nolan from paintbasket.com.